Fit like YouTube, welcome back to another episode. Okay, so first off, channel announcement. Basically, white flag is I give up. I've been thinking about just quitting YouTube, quitting making the videos, just looking over the last year, the last builds. The videos I'm making, people didn't seem to be interested. They were getting very little views. On average, 500, 600 views for a video. Occasionally it might reach 900. And that's like over the space of 6 months or something. So it's pretty crap. So that basically tells me there's no interest in my channel anymore, which is fair enough. That's okay. I'm not going to harp on about that, but basically it's no incentive to create content that's just not going to be watched or have any interest. So I've decided what I'm going to do is, rather than quit YouTube altogether, just to go back and remember the whole reason I created the channel in the first place, and that was just basically for me using it as like a place to document my hobby. And I started that with the Black Pearl, and it was just a place to make my videos and store the progression of my tank as I went through my hobby. And it was just for myself. At the time I had no interest on if people liked it or if people didn't like it. It didn't bother me in the slightest. I just made the videos, and it was nice that maybe after a year I could look back in the videos and think, wow, that's where the tank was then, and it was just for myself. So I'm decided that that's what I'm going to do. Rather than just stop YouTube altogether, I'm just going to go back, because there's obviously no interest in the channel anymore. There's millions of channels now. Back when I started, there was maybe not that many, but everybody's kind of jumped on the bandwagon, and there's tons of them out there which are better than mine, which is fair enough. So I am throwing in the towel. YouTube is done for me. Basically, I will still upload videos, but the comments are going to be switched off. I'm going to have no interaction with the world, and it's just going to be, if you're interested, watch the video, thumbs up, thumbs down. All honesty, I'm past caring, as harsh as that sounds. I just give up trying to please YouTube algorithm. It's just a pain in the backside as far as I'm concerned. So taking myself out of that stress and constant feeling of creating work that's just not appreciated, I'm just going to reel it back in, go back to the basics, back to the whole reason I started the channel, and that's just for myself and my son. So obviously when I'm dead and buried, at least if he wants to get into the hobby, he can see what I did, mistakes I made, etc, etc. So that's the plan. Going forward, my comments will be switched off. I'm going to have no interaction. So if you want to unsubscribe, feel free, go for it. If you want to subscribe, go for it. The content's going to be there for those who are interested in watching it, and that's all I can say. So probably the 300 people that watch it, half of that's probably my friends and family anyway. So the other 150 that watch it, well, enjoy. So that's what it is. The water box, talk about this. This tank for me personally has just been a failure. From day one, the whole thing was just messed up, and what I should have realised was when Waterbox sent me the wrong two stands that didn't go together, and then I had another week waiting for them to send me the correct stand, and then another week waiting them to send me the correct parts. That should have just been alarm bells ringing that, hey, this build is cursed, man, didn't even bother with it. But don't get me wrong, it's not all doom and gloom with the Waterbox. There is things I like about this tank, and there's things that I don't like about it. So let's talk about the things I like. So the things I like is not a lot. I didn't like the height. Let's talk about the things I didn't like first. That's probably easier, right? I didn't like the height. I like tall tanks, right? So this being a lot shallower than the EA Reef Pro that I had, was kind of negative for me. I thought I could live with it, but I really just don't like the height. The other thing I don't like is the rimless. I'm done with rimless. Rimless tanks for me are just a pain in the... What is the point of a rimless tank when you have to stick a bloody net on top of it to stop your fish jumping? It's just stupid. I hate it. If I could go back to my black pearl, I would have that tank any day of the week. Unfortunately, they didn't make those tanks anymore, but it was way better than any of this Red Sea waterbox crap that you're getting these days. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I really don't like how the water level is so short. If you're using a scraper and you go too quick, the water spills over the top. So, don't like that. I do not like, well, the front pane. It's kind of silicone, right? It's silicone along the front here and up the side. But when you look, right, there's absolutely nothing supporting this front pane. The only thing that's keeping this front pane of glass attached to this tank is the silicone that's attached to the base and up the sides. There's absolutely nothing supporting this pane of glass underneath. And that pane of glass, I'm sure, is a fair weight, so is this tank going to be okay in 10, 15 years time? I don't know. So there's that I don't like. The quality of the glass. Now I don't know if this is because it's an American thing, Starfire, I don't know. But in the UK we get like Opti-White, and the Black Pearl was made with Opti-White glass. And that glass was ultra clear, but it was strong. It did not scratch. See this? I could blow on this and there'd be a blooming scratch on this glass. This glass is crap quality, I think. It's maybe clear, but it's soft as crap. And it just scratches far too easily. And I guarantee anybody out there with a water box, give it a month, you'll have a scratch on your tank. It's really poor that you have to be so careful. And I've scratched this tank. Luckily for me, it was on the outside and I managed to remove it. But if it was on the inside, you could still remove it, but it's like just a big headache. So yeah, I'm not keen on how soft this glass is. The plumbing, it's okay. The sump, hate it. Do not like the sump at all. The other issue I have with the plumbing is that you've got your two overflow pipes, but then you've got your return that comes up and then it's tees off. But because this tee is over the emergency drain, you kind of like cover it with anything. So every now and again, if you've got high flow, you'll hear the water splashing over that. That's just a little thing, but it kind of irritated me a wee bit. And I think that's probably all the issues I have with it. The good things is the silicone works nice. It looks good. The cabinet's quite good. The customer service isn't that great. When I received this tank, I don't know if it will show up on camera, but there was this little mark here, and it's just where the paint hasn't been. I don't know what's happened, but there's this little blue mark. I reported that to Waterbox and the place I got the tank, and I asked them if they could send me a replacement door. Just ignored me. Wasn't interested. So Waterbox, that gets a mark down in my book. In regards to the tank, were all the issues I had, Waterbox didn't compensate me with anything. Okay? Which to me were all the hassle and the time I had to wait before I could even get this tank on the stand. A decent company might have said, right, we'll give you, you've got your Waterbox, we'll give you some filter socks free. You know what I mean? Anything, just a little gesture would have been nice, but Waterbox gave me absolutely nothing. So, for Waterbox, as far as I'm concerned, now there's going to be millions of thumbs down for this because everybody's going to be like, oh, I love Waterbox, Waterbox is brilliant, I love my Waterbox, it's the best tank I've ever had, and that's fair enough. I mean, we all have our own opinions and thoughts, and that's fine, but me personally, this tank, for me, it's just been a bit of a letdown. It's been hyped up to be something way better than it actually is, as far as I'm concerned. But am I going to sell it? No, I'm not going to sell it. And why am I not going to sell it? Well, because energy prices in the UK have shot up, and because electric and gas is so dear, there's so many people actually getting out of the hobby that if you could like search fish tanks for sale and there's hundreds of them. So if I put this on the market, I'll probably be lucky if I got flipping 400 quid for it, if I was lucky. So you've got a £3,000 tank that you're going to let go for like 400 or 500 quid? I don't think so. So that's why I'm going to keep it and use it as my quarantine tank. But in order to get this as my quarantine tank, I have to get this out of my house. My house isn't big enough to have two massive tanks like this, so what I've had to do is, my garden is like an absolute tip. There's like a shed in there that's 22-year-old, it's falling to bits, and I've got chucky stains and chucky stones for those that are nae Scottish. And there's weeds and all, and it's just a mess. So literally I have to build a fish room. So I'm going to have to demolish my shed, get the whole site cleared, put in a concrete foundation, build a fish house, and then get this tank out of here into the fish house, which is going to be out in the garden, and then get electric and lights and all that sort of jazz hooked up to that, and then the new tank can come in here, and then I'll be able to run the two systems. So this is going to be my quarantine for my fish, probably corals, and I'll use one of the other tanks because I'll be taking all of the other two quarantines, and the one I've got upstairs with the fish in it just now, they'll be shut down. I'll maybe keep one and I'll use it for inverts, because like I say, because of having to go fallow because of the ick, I'm just, every single thing is going to be quarantined from now on. If I buy new rock, quarantined. Cleanup crew, quarantine. Corals, quarantine. Fish, quarantine. Everything. Because I tell you what, having to go through all of this fallow period is just a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. But I'm glad I did it because I've managed to save quite a lot of fish. I have had losses, but if I didn't do anything and kept the fish in here, I'm 100% confident I would have probably lost 90% of the fish, to tell you the truth. So, but having all of these quarantine tanks just now is just, the amount of salt I'm going through is crazy. Just having to do water changes all the time, keeping on top of the ammonia and stuff like that. Because these systems are not equipped with the filtration like a reef tank's got. So water quality wise, you're having to water changes your method of filtration, and it just gets costly with salt. So I'll be glad once we get the new tank. So this tank's been fallow now for 10 weeks, no fish in it. They say 10 to 12 weeks without fish and all the ick will be gone, and this will be perfectly ick free. There is an argument saying that if you run your temperature like 29-30 degrees, you can speed up the whole process of the ick and it could all be gone in 6 weeks. But personally, I don't want to put my tank to that temperatures, and if I did, I would still wait 10 to 12 weeks, because waiting 6 weeks, right, and then thinking that it's okay, putting your fish in to discover they end up with spots, you're back to square one, and having to go and take them out again and deal with that again, that's just no way. I would rather just wait another couple of weeks and make sure that it's completely eradicated out of here. So I'm going to wait the full 12 weeks. Now, my new tank is due to be delivered next week. But as you can see, this tank's still in the living room. I haven't even built my shed yet. It's a progress. It's a work in progress, as they say. So I've got a lot of work to do. I've done a lot of work over this last few weeks, and I'm absolutely knackered. But I'm just going to keep going forward and get it done. But we'll get there. So yeah, that's where we are. that's what's happening with the channel, like I said. So if you want to carry on watching, stay subscribed. I really appreciate it. Everything's going to be basically the same. The only difference is that I'm just not going to be commenting on videos. There's going to be no comments because I just don't see the point in wasting my time worrying about getting videos out. So the videos will just come as and when I've got something to film, and I'm just done with the whole faffing about with YouTube thing. My main hobby is going to be the Reef tank, and the new tank that comes, I want to make that the best tank ever. This one was just an absolute disaster from start to finish, and it's just never hit its potential just because it was one problem after another. So I'm hoping that the new one is going to be brilliant. So the Kraken is going to be cracking. So yeah, that's it. What I'll do now is I'll show you some footage of how I've been getting on with the preparation for the fish room. If you're interested, you can watch that. And yeah, that's it. So I'll catch you later.
Taking shots at the enemy, I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take a new song. And you cannot save me, cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are have-nots.
You are not as tough as
I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got heart. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, cause I'm great at that. Oh, you cannot save me, cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the...
Started removing most of the sand, since when the new tank arrives I will not be using that sand, although I could take it out and rinse it. I fancy using some different sand for a change, and so yeah, just been removing this gradually. So I reduced the photo period because I've sold quite a lot of the corals I had. I didn't have many corals anyway. The only ones I've kept really is the Gorgonian, the acro that I've got there. I've got a mate picking that up, and that's it. Oh, and the sun coral, I've still got that. But I'm just going to keep the Gorgonian and the sun coral, that's it. And it's just going to be a fresh start altogether. I did get dinos again, no bioload in the tank, so it was inevitable. So in order to keep the nutrient level up, I've been heavy feeding, and I've reduced the photo period of the lights. So I've only run the lights for 6 hours a day. That's worked perfect. The dinos have completely gone and everything is back on track. There is the odd sign of some hair algae, etc. Just a little bit, a wee tuft on the snail there. But the rock is looking nice and clean. But before it goes into the new tank, I will give it a scrub. Obviously, I need to start aquascaping again. Get my acrylic rods out and create those islands again. The refugium is completely shut down. I've drained it out. The miracle mud that's in here, I'm going to have to dump that and get some more for the new build. So the new tank, which will be coming next week, is going to be going here. So the new build, because I love really deep tanks, I went full custom. The tape on the back there is the actual height that's going to be the new tank. So from here to the tape, that's going to be the height of the new tank. The width is going to be pretty much from this wall to here. I didn't want to come too far into the living room because I don't have a big living room as it is. I really didn't want to take up too much space. So just kind of keeping it measuring from where it is here and using up the space we've got here. Just means I won't have vortex on the back wall. I can totally live with that though. It means that I can get like 28 inches. Plus the other reason for 28 inches was getting it through the door. 30 inches would have been a bit of a squeeze, and with packaging and stuff on the tank, I didn't want to risk getting it damaged, getting it through the door. So yeah, it's going to be 28 inches wide, 30 inches is going to be the depth of the tank, and it's going to fill basically what we see here right to the end is going to be the length of the tank. So my little plan with building the refugium has kind of worked, because it meant that my wife's got used to this space being tank space anyway. So when I suggested we just get a new tank that takes up that whole area, at first she was like, oh, but then that's taking up more space. I was like, well, it's not really, it's just what's there anyway. She's like, oh, aye, right enough. Oh well, go for it. So a little plan has worked out perfect. So the tank's going to fill this whole area and be up there. So, and it's going to have a custom canopy as well. So it's all going to be boxed in, because I must admit I do like the Radeons, but I absolutely hate sitting on my sofa trying to watch a telly and this light's shining on my face. So with all this being covered with canopy, that's just going to be awesome. And the other thing is, because it's a deeper tank, what I'll do is I'll take off these diffuser things. So I'll take these off, which will then give these lights a bit more punch to get down to the lower depths. And if need be, I can always run them higher than I've got them just now. Okay, shipmates, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching. I'll post the next one as and when I've got something to shoot. But until then, happy reefing, stay liquid, bye bye.